A plant that we like using in some of our designs here at our studio garden is bronze fennel. It's just the bronze form of the green plant. I like having this plant somewhere in our garden every year. I think its foliage is just spectacular. It's got this nice bronze or coppery color, and some of the new growth almost looks like sort of a chocolate color. Just a wonderful brown, great to mix with other colors out in the garden. The leaves are so fine, they're sort of thread-like or even hair-like, and it gives a soft, feathery texture to the garden. So there are a lot of things you can do with this plant in your designs. Bronze fennel does look best during the cool early part of the year. As it gets older, it does lose some of this bronze color, and when it gets to be about 4 or 5 feet tall, it'll then flower with those yellow Queen Anne's lace like flowers. Bronze fennel is a perennial, although it's not a very long-lived one, but it's still well worth having in the garden. It's easy to grow from seed, and in fact, each year we get a few little volunteer seedlings popping up, so it's easy to keep the plant around in the garden. Well, in addition to its ornamental qualities, fennel is used to impart sort of a licorice flavoring to certain foods. It's used a lot in dishes that contain fish. The green form of fennel looks very much like another plant. It looks a lot like dill. And I've got some dill right here in these two little containers. And right down here I've got a branch of a green form of fennel. And we put them side by side, you may be able to notice that the dill is a little bit more blue-green than the fennel. Another difference is that on the dill there are tiny little white stripes that run the length of the stem, very thin little white lines. And also the stems of dill are hollows. We could pinch this if we wanted to. But another big difference between dill and fennel is that dill is also an annual. But dill is used much in the same way that fennel is. It has a similar taste, that sort of licorice type flavoring. It's used in some of those fish dishes as well, but probably the most well-known use of dill is in pickling. There are lots of us who love dill pickles, and nowadays we even have dill pickle flavored potato chips. Very tangy. Delicious. The seeds of dill are usually ready before our cucumbers ripen. You can see this one's already starting to flower. So if your dill seed ripens early, just harvest those seed heads and put them in the freezer to keep them until your cucumbers are ripe. Then you can make some dill pickles. A variety of fennel that we have in our vegetable garden is Florence fennel. It sometimes goes by the name of Florentine fennel. It's a biennial plant, and it is a different variety. It's the variety Azoricum, and that's because it's believed to have originated in the Azores. You can see that it's a little bit smaller plant. It only gets to be about 1.5 to 2 feet tall, and probably one of the most noticeable difference is the leaf bases. It has these large overlapping bases of its leaves down here at the bottom that forms this large swollen bulb-like area, and this can be used as a vegetable. It can be sliced up and added to salads. It can be stir-fried or sautéed. The rest of the plant can be used pretty much like the other fennels and dills to add that flavor to certain dishes. Now, if we wanted, we could mound soil up on the base of the Florence fennel to blanch it, to give it a little bit tender texture. If we wanted to do that, that would be a possibility. Well, all of these plants, the fennel, the dill, the Florence fennel, the bronze fennel, are all in the Apiaceae, or the carrot family. So they have those small Queen Anne's lace-like yellow flowers. And the plants in the Apiaceae are food for the swallowtail butterfly larvae. So you might see some of those green striped caterpillars feeding on your plants. If you do, don't destroy them. They don't eat much, and they're always fun to watch them develop into a butterfly out in your garden. Another good reason to have these plants in your garden is because those small flowers attract a lot of beneficial insects to your garden. They have tiny amounts of pollen and small amounts of nectar that are just perfect for lots of little beneficial insects like the little tiny parasitic wasps that parasitize a lot of those bad bugs in the garden. So as you can see, there are lots of good reasons to plant these plants here in your vegetable garden. Well, the next time someone asks you, what's the deal with the fennel, you can tell them the difference.